Hi, let's look at data types and expressions in Python. So what are data types? Firstly, let's discuss that. Data types are fundamental building blocks in any programming language. They are there in all programming languages, C, C++, Java, Python. Data types define the kind of a data a variable can store. So one particular variable can store only one type of data. So what happens is, let's say there is a variable A and you have stored something in it, let's say 34.7. Since this is a floating point number, the type of the data which this particular variable is storing will become float. Okay, or let's say there is another variable B and it stores 3. Since it is an integer value, so the type of the variable is called integer here. Okay, so the type of the value which is stored in a particular variable is called the data type. Now Python supports these data types. These are all the data types which are supported in Python programming language internally. And Python is an object oriented programming language. Okay, so everything in Python will be an object of some class. Okay, later on in this course we will see what object oriented programming means and what a class and object means. Don't worry about that right now, but for now just understand this one point, that everything in Python is an object, and hence when you are writing a variable also they will be object of some class. So all the data types will be classes and the variables that you are creating will be objects of that particular class. So these are the data types: numerical types, boolean type, sequence types, set and dictionary. So let's look at them one by one. First is numeric types. So there are three numeric types which Python supports, mainly these three: int, float and complex. So the class which I was talking about will be the int class, float class and complex class. Okay, so whenever you are actually creating a variable which is an integer, it will be an object of the class int. Okay, or you can say that it is a variable of data type int. So first is integer, so it can be integer or whole numbers. Okay, you cannot have floating point numbers here. For example, x is equal to 10. If you write this statement in Python, that will assign the value 10 to the variable x, and you can say that x has the data type int, or x is an object of class int. Okay, int class. Second is float. That is another numeric type. It is a floating point data type, and it can store decimal numbers, and you can write decimal numbers in any of these formats. So let's say you created a variable y1 which is storing the value 3.14. Then it is a floating type variable. The data type is float, and again it is an object of class float. Similarly, I created a variable y2 which is equal to 2e minus 4. Now e minus 4 is scientific notation. It is actually equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 4. So that is equal to 0.0004. 0.0002. Okay, so this value will be stored in y2, and similarly y3 you can write e in capital letter as well. That will also be the same thing. So this will again be the same thing, 2 into 10 to the power minus 4 or 0.0002. And the third is complex types. So generally like C, C++ don't have this data type, but Python has this special numeric data type which is called complex. So in Python you can store complex numbers and variables as well, and you can just write like another variable z is equal to 2 plus 3j. This is the notation you have to follow. Then this will internally be the complex number 2 plus 3 iota that will be stored in the variable z. So this is the real part of this complex number, and this is the complex part of this complex number. Okay, and that will be stored. So these are all numeric types in Python. Next, what is type checking? Okay, you can also, like after creating a variable, you can check its type as well. So for example, here we have created a variable a with a value 42. We know that it is of type int, but how do I check for a particular variable what type of data type it contains? So I can just use type function for that. So if I just write type and any variable name in it, it will just give me what data type it is. So when I say type of a, and if I print that information, it will print me class int. As I told you before, everything in Python is an object of some class, right? And hence here a is a variable which is holding the value 42, which internally is an object of the class int. And from here you can say that the type of a is integer. Similarly, b here we defined as a floating point number, and if you print the type of b, it will come as class float, and here we have defined a variable c as 5 plus 7j, and which makes it a complex number. And if you print the type of c, you will see output class complex. So using the type function, you can check the type of any variable. There is another concept called as type conversion. You can convert one type of variable to another type. Okay, how do you do that? So you can use directly the data type itself as the function. So if I just write int 3.1, it will just convert this floating point number into the integer. So it will just take the integral part of it, which is 3. For example, here if I just do int 3.9, it will convert or cast this particular floating point number into an integer. Similarly, if I write float 5, then it will convert the integer 5 into a floating point number, which is 5.0. And if I convert, if I have to convert some integers into a complex number, how do I do that? So complex numbers have two parts, right? Real part and the floating part. So I can just write like this: complex, let's say I write 3.1 and 4.3. So it will automatically take the first as the real part and the second argument as the complex part or imaginary part. Okay, or imaginary part. So this will automatically become 3.1 plus 4.3 iota. Okay, so this is the complex number. So this is how you can change the types. You can convert integers to complex, you can convert integers to float, or floating point or complex numbers to integers. That's how you can do that. Now second is Boolean type. Okay, a Boolean represents a value which is either true or false. It is either true or false. It cannot take any other value. Okay, so it's binary, like it will be either 0 or 1. So you can directly write it like this. You have defined a variable called is raining. Then is raining is a variable and it is containing the value true. Then by default, like is raining will be a Boolean type variable and it is containing the value true. You can write true and false like this, because if you write 0 and 1, it will become int, right? So if you have to specifically define Boolean data types, you have to write true or false like this. Okay, so these true and false are keywords in Python and you can use them as Boolean values, just like this. And now if you print the type of is raining variable, then it will come out as class bool. So bool is the class for which you define Boolean data type, and any variable which stores a Boolean type is an object of class bool. So when you compare two values, whenever you are using the comparison operator, less than, greater than, not equal to, equal to, whenever you are using a comparison operator, the output of a comparison operator is always a Boolean value, either true or false, right? Because when you are comparing a statement like an expression to another expression, you will always get a Boolean values output. 5 is greater than 6, is it true or false? It is not true, right? So it is false. So false will be the output, just like that. So when you compare two values, the expression is evaluated and Python returns the Boolean data type. So if you print 5 is greater than 6, the output will come out as false. And if you want to print the type of this, like the type of 5 is greater than 6, it will come out as class bool, because it's a Boolean value. It's not an integer, it's a Boolean value. Same for like another expression, 10 is less than 12. Yes, it is. So the output will be true, and the type of this expression is Boolean class. Okay, Booleans actually are a subclass of int. But what does that mean? Again, we have not discussed object-oriented programming right now. Don't worry too much about the word subclass, but for now just understand that int can hold any type of integer values, right? It can hold any integer value, whole numbers basically. So there is a subclass of it called bool. Internal implementation says that bool is also a somewhat kind of an integer only, but it is restricted to take only two values, 0 and 1. It is an integer only, but it is restricted to take only two values, 0 and 1, and 0 means false and 1 means true. Okay, so it is a subclass of int. True and 1 are same and false and 0 are same. So if you actually try to do true plus true, what will happen? So it will try to, like, since bool is a subclass of int, when you are doing an arithmetic operation on a bool, when you are doing an arithmetic operation like plus, minus, multiply, divide, internally then the boolean will be converted to the integer representation. So internally when you evaluate this expression, true will be converted to its integer value, which is 1, and this true again will be converted to 1, and then when you are doing an arithmetic operation, this 1 plus 1 will become 2. Similarly, false plus 5 will become 0 plus 5, which is 5. Okay. Okay, so far we have seen numeric and boolean data type. They are both single data types. For example, like if you want to store a single value in a variable, then they like you can take numeric data types or the boolean data type. They will just contain a single value. For example, an integer 3, like that. From now we will see collection data types. So Python supports ordered collections of item. So let me explain you what collection here means. So there are a few terms coming here: ordered, collection, and immutable, and sequence. So let us try to understand what these terms mean. So first is collection. Then we have ordered collection. So like ordered or unordered. Let's see what it means. Then we have sequence. And then we have immutable. Okay. So what is a collection of items? Any group of items is called a collection. A group of items is called a collection. So this group of items like can be anything, like you can arrange like 5 people in a row, that will be group of 5 people, or you can put 5 chocolates in a bag, that will be a group of 5 chocolates, right? So now if you have a particular ordering, for example like 5 people are standing in a line, then you can say that this is the first guy, second guy, third guy, fourth guy, fifth guy, right? So if they have a particular ordering and you can say that this is the first element or second element or third element, like that, then it is called an ordered collection. So if this group of items has an order, for example first element, second element, third element, and so on, then it is called an ordered collection. And if it doesn't has any order, then it is called an unordered collection. Now all the ordered collections are called sequences. Any ordered collection is called a sequence in Python. So that is why we have 3 sequence data types in Python. They are all ordered collection. They will have some order. Okay. And what is the meaning of the fourth word, immutable? So let us take any sequence. Okay. Let us say take a sequence of items 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay. Now if you can change a particular item in this sequence, if you can change, let's say I want to change the third element, I want to change this 5 into 7. Okay, if you can do that, then that particular sequence is called mutable. Mutable means you can change it, and if you cannot change it, it is called immutable. So immutable means cannot change elements in the sequence, elements in the collection. Okay, so this is the terminology. Now let's see this terminology in all these data types one by one. First one is string, okay, or str data type. So string data type again is an object of str class in Python. Again, now what it is a sequence. So there will be an ordered collection. You will have ordered characters in a string. Okay, there will be a first character, second character, and third character, and so on. So it is an immutable sequence of characters. So an example of string is hello. So let us say I define a string like this. A variable a is storing the sequence of characters HELLO. So here you can see there are 5 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is an ordering. I can say that the first character is H, second is E, third is L, fourth is L, and fifth is O. Okay, and hence it is an ordered collection. And what is the meaning of immutability here? You cannot change the items in this list or in this sequence. So if I want to change, let's say if I want to remove the third L, I cannot do that because it is immutable. If I have to remove the third L, I'll have to, like, for right now this hello will be present in memory like this, HELLO, LO, and the variable a will be referencing here, right? If I want to remove this L, what I have to do, I have to create another string with H, E, L and O, and then this a has to refer here. So I can write this statement a is equal to H, E, L, O, but I cannot remove this L from this particular memory at all because it is immutable collection. So I have to create another memory and then refer it here. Then I can remove this particular reference. But the problem is the hello which was previously present will still be there in memory, okay, and hence we will waste some memory. But later we will see the concept of garbage collection in Python. Actually the garbage collector will collect this hello again later. So later in the series of lectures we will see what garbage collector is, how it works. Don't worry about it right now. Right now just understand, in an immutable sequence you cannot change the elements. If you want to remove or delete or add anything in a sequence, you have to create another sequence, then only you can do that, okay. So this is how str or string data type works. Second is list. Now what is list? List is a mutable sequence of items, and here it is just mentioning items. It is not saying that these items can be of only one data type or anything. They can be of any item. So any mutable sequence of item is a list. For example, I can create a list like this: a is equal to 1, 3.1, then hello, then 2 plus 3j. So here I have created a list containing an integer, a floating point number, a string and a complex number, all four. That is also allowed. In Python, in a list you can add any type of items. That is why it is a mutable sequence of items. In C, C++ and Java, generally an array is a collection of same type of elements. You can have an array of integers or characters or strings like that. But in Python you can have a list containing any type of items, okay, at any particular location anything can be present. This is a list, and it is mutable. So you can, if you want to delete a particular item, you can. How to do that we will see later. We will have a detailed lecture on list. So we will have a detailed lecture on each of these data types later, don't worry about that, okay. Right now we are just seeing on high level. So a list is a mutable sequence, and you can delete or insert elements in a list in the same memory location itself, okay, or you can even change elements. If I want to change this floating point number into something else, I want to change it into another list, I can do that, okay. So anything is possible, like it is a mutable collection of items. Now the third one is a tuple. Tuple is again a sequence of items, but it is an immutable sequence of items, okay. So the only difference between a list and tuple is they are both sequence of items. They both can contain any type of item, but list is mutable and a tuple is immutable. You cannot change items in a tuple. For example, if I create a tuple like this, 1, 3.1, hello, and 2 plus 3j. So this is a tuple containing 4 values: an integer, a floating point number, a string and a complex number. Now if I want to change a particular element, I cannot do that. If I want to like remove an element or add an element, I cannot do that. If you have to do it, you have to create another tuple and then assign the variable that particular value, okay. Now there is a property here, like I told you, right, you can have a sequence of different types of items. This property is called as heterogeneity. So I'll give you one more term here, heterogeneity. So in Python all the collections are heterogeneous. In Python all the collections, the sequences, and later we will see sets and dictionaries as well, all the collections in Python or group of items is heterogeneous. By heterogeneous, what do we mean? You can store different data types in a single variable. For example, here in a list I can have different data types, like a character, a string, a complex number, an integer, float, any type of items, right? They don't need to be of same type. But in C, C++ and Java, arrays are homogeneous. Homogeneous means they must have same data type. So in C or C++, when you are creating an array of integers, it can only hold integers. You cannot have 3 integers and a floating point number, right? So in C, C++ and Java, arrays are homogeneous, but in Python the lists, tuples are heterogeneous. But you can say that string is homogeneous. String is a homogeneous, like this is only exception. String is a homogeneous collection because it can only contain characters. It is an immutable sequence of characters. Other than this, everyone is heterogeneous, all other data types. Okay, this and this both. So this is all the terminology we need for sequences in Python. Here is an example of sequence data types. First is we created a variable called name, and the value it contains is the string Python. So the data type of name here will be string. So if you print the type of name, it will come out as class str. Okay. There are other ways of declaring strings as well in Python. Again, we will see that later. You can actually declare a string using single quotes as well. We will see that. And here we have created another variable numbers. Number contains a list of items, 4 items. So if you print the type of numbers, it will come out as class list. If you just print the type of it. And another, we have created coordinates. It is a tuple. We can see tuples are declared using round brackets. So if you print the type of coordinates, it will come out as class tuple. Okay. And the beauty about sequences is, since sequences are ordered collection, they have a particular ordering, and you can access any ith element in them. You can access any element because they are ordered, right? They have a particular sequence. So if I want to access like 0th element or first element, so what do we mean by 0 here? Python is a zero indexed language. So let me explain how it works. So let's say you have created a list containing items 1, 2, 5, 7, 3, like that. Okay. Now if I want to index, or if I want to check what is the first item. So in Python programming language, the first item has an index of 0. The first item has an index of 0 for all data types, for strings, for lists, for tuples, for any data type, for any sequence which has an order, the index will start at 0. So the first item will have an index of 0, the second item will have an index of 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and so on. This is how index works, and that is why, since the first element has an index of 0, Python is a zero index language. Actually, C, C++, and Java are also zero indexed. The indexing works same way in C, C++, Java, and Python, all 4 languages. Okay, and hence if you want to access, let's say this is a list A. If you want to access the third element of this list, so the third element will have an index of 2. So if I print A of 2, I'll get the third element of this list, which will be 5. Okay, this is how indexing works, and you can access any element in a sequence in Python. So here if you want to access name of 0, 0 is what? The first element, which is the character P. Similarly for numbers of 1, 1 will be what? The second element, because the index will be 0 and 1. So 2 will be printed. And when you print coordinates of 0, 0 is what? The first element. So 10 will be printed. Okay, this is how accessing elements or indexing works in Python. Now coming to the next data type, we have sets. Okay, set. What is a set? In mathematics also, like the same definition goes, a set is an unordered collection of unique elements. There are 2 properties here. It is an unordered collection, which means there is no ordering. If you see before, sequences are ordered. They will have first element, second element, and so on. But sets do not have an ordering. You can have any element as the first element, any element as the second element. It is like just placing 3 chocolates in a bag and shuffling it. You don't know which chocolate is first, second, or third. Right? There is no ordering. It's just a group of items placed in a bag. And also it must contain unique elements. You cannot have like an element repeated in a set. All elements must be distinct. They must be unique. For example, here you have created a set called mySet containing 3 strings: apple, banana, and mango. So it is like a collection of 3 strings, apple, banana, and mango, and all 3 are different, so they can be present. And you can print the type of this particular set, mySet. It will come out as class set. So sets are object of class set. Okay. Similarly, like if you create another set containing elements 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. Okay, what will happen here? Like try creating a set. It is a bag first you are trying to insert 1, so 1 will be inserted in this bag. Then you are trying to insert 2, so 2 will be inserted in this bag. Then you are trying to insert 3, 3 will be inserted in this bag. Now you are trying to insert 3 again. Since 3 is already present, the set will ignore it, because set must have distinct elements. Okay, so it will ignore this 3. There is no error in this code, it will just ignore the duplicate elements. Then again you are trying to insert 2, 2 is already present, so it will ignore it. So a set, when inserting, ignores duplicate elements. Okay, it will ignore duplicate elements. So now the finally set will contain the 3 elements 1, 2 and 3. And when you print the entire set using print my set, it will print all these 3 elements in any order. You cannot guarantee the order. They can come in any order. It can come 1, 2, 3 or 2, 1, 3 or 3, 1, 2. They can come in any order because it is an unordered collection. Okay, and the duplicates are removed, as you can see here. This is what sets are. Now the next data type is a dictionary. Okay, so again dictionary also is an unordered collection. It is not ordered, it is an unordered collection, but it is a collection of key value pairs. Okay, so like in C, C++ and Java we have map, unordered map. So the same role here dictionary plays. Okay, so what is a key ordered pair? Let us say you have a classroom and you want to map the roll number of a student with the name of the student. So let's say roll number 1 is some XYZ, roll number 2 is ABC, roll number 3 is some Rahul, and roll number 4 is Jay, like this. Okay, so we have 4 students and we have a map of roll number with name. Okay, and roll number need not be in a sequence also. You can have any roll number. Let's say roll number 1, 2, 31 and 47. Okay, we don't have other students. Let's say right now we have these 4 students. This is the map between a roll number and a name, and I want to store this map. So you can see the mapping, right? I'm mapping between roll number and the name, and I want to store this mapping into like in Python. How do I do that? I can use the dictionary data type. So dictionary data type is an object of class dict. Okay, so how do I store it? I can just create like this. I can create a variable called a. Let's say it stores this dictionary, and I can write it like this. It is created using curly brackets, and sets are also created using curly brackets, right? So the distinction is the way we write. Here you will have an element comma, element comma, element comma, like this. So sets are created also using curly brackets, and dictionary also. But the difference is in dictionary you will write like this: element, so key colon the value. So value is the string XYZ. Then comma, then again the second element, you can enter it, you can write it here only, like in the same line, or you can write in the next line also. So you can write like this, like the second key, then colon, then the value, then the key, colon, the value, then again the key, colon, the value. Okay, and then you can close the bracket. So this is how you create a dictionary: key colon value comma, key colon value comma, like that. Okay, and this is the difference between a set and a dictionary. Now what will happen? There are certain properties of dictionary. One is it is unordered. You cannot guarantee any order. Like the keys can go at any place. It doesn't matter. It is unordered. And you can access elements. You can access elements in a dictionary using their keys, not using their values. So if I want to access like what is the name of the student with a roll number 31, that I can do. I cannot do the other way around. You can access a value using the key. So if I just print like this, a of 31, I will get Rahul as the output, because the name corresponding to the key 31 is Rahul. Okay, that's how you can access elements. And there is another property of dictionaries: they are heterogeneous. which means they need not be of same data type. Even the keys and the values can be of other data types, like they can be of different data types. So we will see all these properties in detail and when we discuss dictionaries in detail. Essentially you can have any data type in key and any data type in value. Okay, you can have a like you can have it other way around as well. You can have a string mapped to an integer, or you can have like one string and one integer in keys. Like anything can happen. Okay, it's just heterogeneous. So these are a few properties. For example, here we have created a dictionary called person with name Alice and age 25. So we are mapping a string to a string here, and here we are mapping a string to an integer. That is possible. Okay, so if we print person's name, it is like checking the value attached to the key name. So output will be Alice. And similarly, if you want to print the type of person, since the type of person is a dictionary, you will get class dict. So the class is dict. Okay, so this is about all the data types in Python. We have seen numeric and then boolean, and then we have seen sequence. In sequence, what are sequences? Sequences are ordered collection of items. In sequences we had list, tuple and string. Then we saw set data type, which is an unordered collection, and then we saw dictionary. Okay, so these are all the data types, basic data types in Python. Now let us look at expressions in Python. So what are expressions? An expression is a combination of variables, constants and operators that produces a result. Okay, so it is a combination of variables, constants. Let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say we have a variable a and we have a constant 5. If I want to add a constant to this variable, and if I want to store it in some another variable, let's say b, this entire thing will become an expression. Here I have a variable, a constant and an operator. A is a variable, plus is an operator. A is a variable, plus is an operator, 5 is a constant, and I am storing it in another variable. So basically you are trying to evaluate an expression. Okay, it's just like a mathematical expression. You want to do some operations and then evaluate a particular expression and store it in some another variable. This entire thing is called an expression in Python. Okay, there are 3 types of expressions which are possible: arithmetic expressions, comparison expressions and logical expressions. We have already seen operators in Python, so we will just use the same operators to create expressions. Let us look at that. And notice the difference here. If you just write x equal to 5, here there is no operator involved. You are not performing any operation. You are just assigning 5 to x. So x equal to 5 is a statement. It is a statement. But if you perform some operation, like if you write x equal to x plus 10, then you are performing some operation, and hence x equal to x plus 10 becomes an expression. Okay, this is the difference between a statement and an expression. So what are arithmetic expressions? All the expressions involving arithmetic operators are called arithmetic expressions. So with the operators plus, minus, multiply, divide, floor division and modulus and exponentiation, these are all arithmetic operators that we have. We have already seen these, and any expressions involving these operators are called an arithmetic expression. So all these are arithmetic expressions. Similarly, and the key factor here is the result of an arithmetic expression is a numeric value. You will always get a numeric value as an output. So here we can see some examples. X equal to 10 is a statement, y is equal to 3 is a statement. Now when you do print x plus y, this is an expression, because here you are performing an arithmetic operation and then printing the output. You can also print, it's just not assignment, you can print also. So this becomes an expression, and when you print x plus y, you will get 10 plus 3, which is 13. So this is an arithmetic expression. Similarly, x floor division y and x to the power y, these are all arithmetic expressions. Now coming to comparison expressions, the comparison expressions involve comparator, comparison operators like equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than. All these are comparison operators which we have already seen. And the key difference is arithmetic expressions return a numeric value, but comparison expressions return a boolean value, which is true or false. So their output will be either true or false, a boolean. Okay, so whenever you are creating an expression involving comparator operator like this, x is equal to y or not, x not equal to y, x greater than y, all these are comparator operators and they will return a boolean as output. Let's see an example for the same. So we wrote an statement x equal to 10. We wrote an statement, another statement y is equal to 5. And if you are printing 5 equal to 5. So here you are actually applying a comparison operator in a statement. And that is why this becomes a expression. And specifically it becomes a comparison expression. So it will just try to see 5 is equal to 5 or not. It is equal to 5 and hence you will return true. Always the output of a comparison expression is a boolean value. So you can check like 5 is equal to 5, x is less than equal to y, x is not less than equal to y, so you will get false, and x is not equal to y is correct, x and y are not equal, so you will get true here. So this is all about comparison expressions. And the last one is logical expression. So all the expressions involving the logical operator, which is and, or and not, are called logical expressions, and they also return either true or false. Okay, so the logical expressions will also return a boolean output, true or false. Boolean data type as the output. So if you're performing the operator AND, so it will compare two statements x greater than 5 and y less than 10. If both of them are true, this entire statement will return true. And same goes with and, or and not. Okay, so if in any statement, if you're using a logical operator, then this becomes a logical expression. Okay, you can check some examples here. Here x equal to 10 is a statement, y is equal to 5 is a statement, and this entire thing becomes a logical expression because it involves a logical operator at the end. So is x greater than 5? Yes, x is greater than 5, so this will become true. Is y less than 10? Yes, y is less than 10, so this will become true. And true is true, so the final output will be true. Similarly, you can check this. X is greater than 5 is true, y is greater than 10 is false, but we know that true or false is true, so the final output will be true. And similarly, like printing not of x greater than 5, is x greater than 5? Yes, and not of true is false, so at the end we will print false. These are all logical expressions. So this is all about data types and expressions in Python. We will see a demo on this. Thank you.
Okay, now let's see a demo on data types in Python. First we have type checking. So for any value, like how do we check what type of data it is? Okay, and we can do it on literals or on variables as well. Okay, so let us see both. Firstly, let's say if I just directly write type of 10. Okay, 10 is an integer number, so it will give me type int. Int is the class here. Okay, and if I write so this is like directly I'm applying it on literal or the value itself. Okay, and if I write like let's say type 10.0, so 10.0 now becomes a floating point number, so automatically its type will be float. And similarly, if I write a complex number, let's say 1 plus 3j or 10 plus 3j, okay, its type will be complex. And like there are other ways of writing a floating point number as well. Like I can write it in exponent notation. We already know, like what if I write 3e minus 4? So type of 3e minus 4 is also float. Actually 3e minus 4 is nothing but 3 into 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, so if you just output the value, it will be 0.0003, 3 into 10 to the power minus 4. So this is how you can check type of numeric variables. We can even do boolean or sequence variables. So if I ask about a boolean variable, let's say if I ask the type of true, then it will give me bool, or even false, it will give me bool. Okay, true and false are keywords here in Python, and they specifically are used for boolean values which are true or false. So this is boolean. Now coming to sequence data types. Firstly, let's use a string. So like you can use double quotes or single quotes to create a string. So if I just write I am a string here, and if I see the type, it is a string. It's not that I'm writing I am a string, that's why it is a string. Even if I write I am a list here, it will be a string because I've added it in double quotes. Okay, cool. So this is how you can create a list, a string. Now if I have to create a list, to create a list you have to use square brackets. So in square brackets you can create a list, let's say 1 2 3, and if I print the type of it, it will be a list. Similarly, to create a tuple, you need to use round brackets. So in the round brackets, if I write 1 comma 2 comma 3, its type will be a tuple. And at the end, like let's say if I want to create a set, okay, set containing elements 1, 2 and 3, then its type will be set. And let's create a dictionary as well. So to create a dictionary, like yeah, perfect example, we can create it like this. So there are key value pairs. Key is 1, value is 1, key is 2, value is 2, and key is 3, and the value is string 3. So if I print the type of it, it will be dict. So this is how you can check the type of any constant, and you can even do it on variables. Like if I write, okay, let's say none. Okay, what will be the type of none? Let's see, it's none type. None is also a data type in Python, like it signifies nothing. But if you, even if you give some other value, let's say I give it a string using a single quotes, let's say this string, hello world. And if I print the type of A, if I display the type of A, I will get str. Remember that here we are not printing anything. We are using that feature that in any cell, the last line's output will automatically be displayed. Okay, we are not printing these things. How to print anything in Python, that we will see in the next lecture. Okay. So this is all about type checking, like how you can check the type of different objects in Python. You can just use the type function for doing that. Now we can convert one data type to another as well in Python, right? So we can convert all numeric data types into each other. So what if I want to, let's say, convert a floating point number 3.5 into an integer? I'll just get the integer part of it. Even if I write 3.8, I'll get the integer 3. So I'll just have to wrap it in the class name. So if I want to convert a floating point number into an integer, I will just use the class int because I want to convert it into integer. This is what is casting or conversion. And if I want to convert a integer into a floating point number, I can do that as well. And if I want to convert something into complex number, so for complex we need two arguments, real part and the imaginary part, right? So I can write 3.4 comma 8.9 like that. So it will convert it into a complex number. I converted two floating point numbers into a complex number. And we can convert them into Boolean as well. So for conversion into Boolean, every number will be treated as true except 0. Okay. So I can use bool -1, that will be considered as true. Even bool of +1 will be considered as true. But only bool of 0 or 0.0, they will be considered as false. Okay, so 0 integer or 0.0 as floating point number, they will be considered as false. Even the bool of the 0 complex number, which is 0 plus 0j, this is a complex number, right? 0 plus 0j. Its real and imaginary part both are 0, and hence it will be considered as false. Except everything will be true. Even if you convert a string into a bool, it will be true only. Okay, only the empty string, empty list, empty tuple, or empty dictionary, they will be considered as false. Except that everything will be considered as true, even if it contains a single element. Okay, so that is how you can convert data types into Boolean data type, and you can convert different sequence data types into one another as well. So I can convert a tuple into a list. So if I have a tuple containing 1, 2, 3, I can convert it into a list by using the list function. Okay, or I can convert a set into a tuple. Let's say if I have a set containing 1, 2 and 3, it will be converted into a tuple. So anything can be converted, but not dictionary, because dictionaries have key value pairs. How to operate on dictionaries we will see later. But except that, we can convert list, tuples and sets into one another using type conversion. Okay, even strings, if I write list and if I pass a string here, it will be converted to a list. How is this happening? This is happening because of the constructor that is present in the list class. If you don't understand what constructor are, what classes are, we will see this in detail in the list lecture. Okay, like how is this actually happening? But yes, we can convert any sequence into any other sequence. Okay, and we can even convert an integer like a string to an integer if it contains digits, if it is convertible. If it is not convertible, it will automatically give you an error. Like let's say if I write hello, this cannot be converted, right? And hence it will give you an error, invalid literal for int with base 10 hello, because you cannot convert hello to an integer, right? But if it is convertible, it will convert. So if you write float of let's say 10.123, it will convert because it is a valid floating point number. Even though I've written it in a string, it will be converted because it was valid. Okay. So this is how you can convert one data type into another in Python, and this is how you can check data types of different values in Python. So this was a demo on data types in Python. Thanks a lot. Let's see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.